November 3rd, 2021, and on the evening news, there was a spotlight on FDNY. Apparently, there was some fires in this place called Harlem in one of the boroughs. I don't know which one it belongs to. I've heard the name before, but I have no idea. It's Harlem. And the person in charge had to order something called a 5-alarm fire, which I've heard referenced before, no idea what it means. Apparently the news station, the television, is stating it means 250 people were ordered on the scene to help each other, and the person in charge put out the fire. There is a person who's interviewed on the television this evening. There's a regular firefighter, and then there's the gentleman that goes by a title, a battalion chief or chief battalion, in the real FDNY. These are not TV land, TV produced. This is real life, I guess, in the trauma ward of of the New York State, not in the hypothetical, theoretical TV producer land of, like, the TV shows that have actors like Alec Baldwin level. That would be like, I don't even know how to classify the difference between real life real life trauma and then the drama world. But so you can hear the level of language and informality that I hold is the same level as what the professionals in the area hold.
It took hours for crews to get under control.
Yeah, this was after 3 in the morning, and now it's a tough go for the business owners. They're trying to assess the damage, see if anything is salvageable. News 4's Miles Miller is live on that scene. Miles?
David, you can see behind me they've begun the process of boarding up the businesses here. They've putting it all together right now. They're going to put it on top of the businesses, but you can see there is nothing more than a burned out shell of some of these well-known businesses here in Harlem. We are told by fire officials they first got the call around 3 this morning. The first call is coming into 911. A fire raging here at 490 Lenox Avenue. Chopper 4 was over the scene for much of the morning as the row of businesses were just knocked down by flames, and the firefighters and the tower ladders did the work of putting as much water as they could here. The fire started in what's called the cock loft, and it spread across the shared roof within minutes. It burned for several hours, and the sheer volume of fire required the chief to signal 5 alarms, bringing nearly 250 firefighters and EMS personnel to the scene. Now, back in 2019, a fire gutted the basement of Mana's, a soul food staple in this neighborhood here. We spoke with the owner of a local fish market who opened up his shop around the same time in 1982.
1982 is when they opened.
About 3:30 in the morning, there was a fire, so I just come out and take a look, and there's a big fire there.
Units responded within
He's the battalion chief.
and found heavy smoke and fire through the roof of this building right behind us. The fire continued to extend in the cock-off area, which is the space between the top floor ceiling and the roof.
We'll have much more from the business owners and people who love these businesses coming up at 5:30. We know one firefighter was injured, taken to nearby Harlem Hospital. Live in Harlem, I'm Miles Miller, News 4 New York. Back to you.
All right, Miles, thank you. In Flatbush, Brooklyn, more than 170 firefighters were called out to put out that fire there on Lenox.
This is almost like a set real-life trauma of New York spotlight and showcase for what the real true professionals do, not the drama team in Gets Paid to Act. They act in a different way, which again, linguistically, it gets confusing if you're in a really heated argument.
Lenox Road. The fire started on the 7th floor of the apartment building this morning. The fire spread through the space above the ceiling to 4 apartments and to the roof. The fire chief says there was work being done on the roof when it started, but no.
That's fine. I just want to finish with the next piece. Just give me a sec.
In front of a fire hydrant, there it is right there near the building. That illegal parking job delayed the crews trying to get to the fire, Dave.
Natalie,
Illegal
another major
parking.
fire incident. In fact, a fireball on the New Jersey highway, busy stretch of Route 37. Just
Three
next to the
types of
Jersey
fires.
Shore, still closed at this hour.
This is
after
New
the tanker
Jersey.
crashed and burst into flames. Take a look at what was left after the fire. We just learned the truck was filled with 8,700 gallons of gasoline. This happened in Manchester, again, before 3 o'clock this morning. And again, 12 hours later, the highway's still closed. News 4's Gabi Acevedo is reporting from Manchester with some new information.
Now, New Jersey police and fire are not globally known or globally accessible because they do not have a drama TV series. New York does. So that's why New York tends to be a focus or a focal point and is easier to speak about at times than to keep the other situations safe, which puts them at a higher risk for other things in tribal and tribunal and triborough and tri-state and trisomy and Down syndrome, and we're on land and I don't have access to the water or to fly.
Behind me, you can see utility crews still working at this hour to restore power and internet to thousands of homes around Manchester and Lakehurst that were impacted as a result of this accident. A highway inferno. A tanker truck hauling thousands of gallons of gas exploded just before 3 a.m. Neighbors close to the scene said the evening sky turned into an orange glow.
I was just happy to hear that everyone made that okay.
Joe Love was walking away from the aftermath of the scene, still active today as crews work to clean up the road. Police say this all started when an 18-year-old woman hit a deer with her car.
And at the same time, truck was coming down, and the truck hit her car and flipped over and exploded.
You can see the Mack tractor severely damaged by the side of the road. It was pulling a tanker trailer filled with 8,700 gallons of gasoline when it crashed into the Honda. Chopper 4 was over the scene a few hours after the accident. The Mack tractor ended up hitting a concrete barrier and separated from its trailer, which landed on the other side of the highway. Both eastbound and westbound lanes of the roadway were set on fire
This
after gas
is
spilled all
Channel
over, causing a
4.
large explosion.
New York, the Peacock Network with the rings. It just happens to be something that was on. Linda had put it on. I walked in, I saw it, and I said, you know what, that's a really important piece.
13 hours later, utility crews
That's
still
that
work on restoring
serendipity.
power. That's why they have all
That's
this.
why it's been shut down all night and half of the day now.
Drivers told us the road closure has caused them major delays. Many drivers trying to circle around the area where the gas tanker truck exploded.
There's one sign over there on Route 37. It says detour. If you keep on driving, here it is, right here. Okay?
But you can't get to where you're going. Manchester Township Police confirmed that both drivers, the 18-year-old woman driving the Honda Civic and the 46-year-old truck driver, are expected to be okay. Reporting from Manchester Township, Gabi Acevedo, News 4, New York.
We have some new information on an accident that injured a Suffolk County police officer just this morning. A man from Mastic faces DWI charges for the incident. The officer was investigating another accident in Yaphank on the William Floyd Parkway, just north of the LIE, just before midnight.
That's the same island that I am on. It's just outside of the boroughs. However, on the fish, there's the head and the neck, there's the body, and then there's the tail section of my section of downstate New York. Because upstate New York, according to Exit Realty, was separated. So I'm going to go on that actuality that Steve Morris had set up as a Canadian with, I don't know if you can call it parental rights or custodial or some type of trustworthiness with the downstates from the Canada region. I tend to go polar vortex and polar up near the North Pole for Christmas and Saint Nick reasons. I know, again, there's Wilhelm and Frederick. There's important people who have islands and things, but I don't really study that kind of stuff. I've just seen it as I was reading a version of the Rapoggle in props and truths that I'm currently unable to verify, but I'm trying to keep myself occupied in where I'm being held, which, as while I'm working on this, under this type of a unity flag, is what they pledge allegiance to in the nation. So I keep that as, I mean, there's anchors in my reality while I'm in this trauma center. There's others that are anchored into this reality in my trauma center. My trauma center, they say, is the state of New York. Then it has a larger United States of, and they call it America, so I've heard it addressed as, for my purpose, with 22s and 55s and an Oort cloud and a balding black hole scenario and deeper scientific issues, but not a educated scientific department that I have direct access to or know how to contact even easily. I mean, I don't know the words the humans use. I don't know an alphabet, calligraphy, I've never been taught. They've only taught in this area, you call 911 if it's an emergency, if somebody's hurting you. You rely on the police if it's a matter of law enforcement, but that even gets a little weird because what do you consider the laws that you need help with? And what are these laws? Nobody teaches them, so it's kind of hard to lean on the police when you need them to help you out in like a brotherly type, sisterly type fashion, in like a protection in a lagoon, in a reef that may or may not behave like the big wide ocean outside of your lagoon and reef. And then there's an FDNY, which you saw what they display, what their main function is. That's the only time I've ever heard them addressed, is they have an ambulance, which I would imagine at a fire like that, they would show up, they would need to, there might be burn victims and so on and so forth. But fire is their main job function. I do not know in their law group or big brother function, and I being a little sister of some sort, I don't know how I'm supposed to interact with them. I don't have a fire per se, and I don't know what other functions they handle, because nobody has any kind of community involvement in my lagoon, being zip code 11361 Bayside Station, Bayside, New York. I can't speak for the rest of the city, but I can tell you right now, in my little firehouse of one fire truck, although I see other numbers, but just for one ladder house, or is it ladder? Is it an engine? I don't even know how they distinguish that, because again, nobody teaches anything. And you go to the door and you just feel like the annoying little sister, like, hi, I don't know, you don't know me, right? I was adopted by whatever. And so it's weird. But that's what the lagoon looks like in Ghost Town, Happily Ghost Town, of nobody really speaks or says much. I don't know if it functions like other towns or villages in the borough of Queens or in one of the outer boroughs. But I have great beyond this nightmare. I mean, I just put up earlier something on dark matter that happened to me as I'm a thematic. I have a thematic of time. That right there, it's a theta. It's really important. I'm in an uppercase gamma and a lowercase gamma and a gamma field science that I'm trying to not start 5-alarm fires that might burn me, but I am in such a derelict and the world neglected my care situation that I don't know how to get to the fettered man for which I was chained originally and very happy with. I don't know how the chains got rearranged or strings got attached and chains detached in deter and detour for tours and tournaments and children that really don't matter, and especially at the end of times, their subject matter really doesn't matter in actuality for the rest of us. Just saying. So I'm stuck somewhere between an upper gamma, a lower gamma, in some kind of a unity, and now you know what the trauma center of the real gentlemen that work FDNY, what they sound like as battalion chief when they speak. Because I know, I've heard some, perhaps they're Canadian since they have a Royal Mountie and a Royal Air Force, they may have a royal education and a different expectation on how one speaks when they're addressing whatever. But from a poorly educated, like, third world nation, being the United States of America, unlike they claim to outside authority, their education system in New York, at least, is nil. It's horrific. So I just want Canada to know that special needs kid is fully cognitively aware. It's just the punishment that some foreign body is actively working through. It makes amnesia and time dysplasia a dangerous, non-spoken about event, which I don't even want to speak about, but I can't seem to find a way to my fettered chain that I want to just, can you just get me back to wherever you are and I'll just quietly never speak of any of this ever again? Because I really don't like what the, my options are at the moment, which feels like nil and none. Not a zip zilch. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. I'm in drama room. I don't do drama, ever. I don't even like speaking to humans, let alone to a camera, to document the amount and level of trauma I'm sustaining in some disgusting arrangement humans made with themselves at some level. It's November 3rd, 2021. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken.